What if the reason you keep putting yourself last has nothing to do with time? What if somewhere along the way you started believing that everyone else's needs mattered more than your own? In today's episode, we're looking beneath the surface of our never ending to do lists to explore the beliefs that keep us disconnected from ourselves. Because choosing yourself isn't about doing less for others. It's about remembering that your life matters too. Come on in. It's time to choose happy. Wherever you are, whatever kind of day you're having, this is your reminder. You have a choice. If you're ready to break free from self-doubt and negative thinking, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Marie, and this is the Choose Happy with Marie podcast. Welcome. Hello, welcome back to the Choose Happy with Marie podcast. I am so glad you're here. I want to ask you a question. Have you ever reached the end of the day and realized you took care of everyone and everything else, but somehow never got around to yourself and what you wanted to do? Maybe you answered the emails, you picked up the groceries, folded the laundry, returned the phone calls, finished your work, or checked off a dozen little things that needed your attention. And then the day is over. The walk you wanted to take never happened. The book you wanted to read stayed on the nightstand. And the cup of coffee that you promised yourself later in the morning turned into one more thing that could wait until tomorrow. If you've had any one of those days, I want you to know you are not alone. And here's what I've been thinking about lately. I don't actually think the problem is that we're too busy. And I know you're already saying this, but Marie, I am so busy. I hear you. I'm busy too. And yet somehow you and we always seem to find time to do the things other people need from us, don't we? I think the harder question to ask ourselves is this. Why is it so easy to leave ourselves off of our own to-do list? The things that we want to do. Not once in a while, but we do it over and over again. Today, I want to explore that question with you because I have a feeling this just isn't about what's on our to-do list. It's actually about what we've been leaving off of it. And I think it's about something much deeper. Maybe it's a place you've been avoiding, not because you wanted to, but because you've been busy getting through each day. And maybe somewhere along the way, you've started believing something about yourself without even realizing it. A belief that has shaped your days, your decisions, and perhaps even the life you're creating. And maybe, just maybe, by the end of this episode, you'll begin to see yourself and your to-do list a little differently. So let's dig in. Have you ever noticed how really, it's easy to remember everything that needs to be done for everyone else? You know, I'm talking about the appointment you need to schedule on behalf of your partner because they're too busy to make it. The email you need to send to inquire about that cottage that your friend Julie, she found it online, but she doesn't have time to do it. Or the groceries you need to pick up for a dinner that you still need to plan later today. That happened to me today, actually. We're so good at remembering the things that matter to the people around us. But then when it comes to ourselves, somehow we become easier to forget. The things that we wanted to do, they get moved to tomorrow, like booking that hair appointment before that event that's coming up. That matters. Yet, why does that task slip to the bottom of the to-do list? What about the ideas that we wanted to explore that get pushed aside? Or remember that crochet project you wanted to start? Oh, wait, you don't even know how to crochet yet, but you want to. Maybe you need to start there. But first, you need to get a book to learn. And suddenly, that little thing you wanted to do for yourself, like getting that book to learn how to crochet, it gets pushed further and further down the list. It's the things that we were looking forward to. They become something that we call, when things slow down, I'll get to it. But the truth is, for many of us, things don't really slow down. There's always something else that needs our attention. And before we realize it, another day has passed, another week, another month, and we may find ourselves wondering, when did I stop making space for myself? And maybe even, what actually makes me happy anymore? I don't know anymore. I hear that a lot from clients. It's hard to know what makes us happy because we've pushed it down so much that we don't know what it is anymore. And I don't think this happens because we don't care about ourselves. I think we do. I think it happens because we've just become so good at caring for everything outside of ourselves. And maybe somewhere along the way, we learn that being the one who handles things, the one who helps, the one who can be counted on, maybe was where we learned to find our value. Maybe this is where we need to pause just for a moment. Because if you've spent years putting everyone else first, you might be wondering, but Marie, why do I do this? Why is it so hard for me to choose myself? And I think the answer is actually more compassionate than we often realize. We don't leave ourselves off our own list because we don't matter. I don't believe that. I think we leave ourselves off because somewhere along the way, we learned that taking care of others became part of who we were. Maybe you became the reliable one in your family, the one people could count on, the one who remembered the details, the birthdays, the anniversaries, or even sent the cards. I was one of those people. The one who noticed what needed to be done before anyone even asked. And maybe over time, something subtle started to happen. Maybe you began to feel good when people needed you. Not because you wanted attention, not because you were trying to prove anything, but because being needed felt like a reminder that you mattered, that you were important, that you had a place. And this is where it can become complicated because caring for others is a beautiful thing. I care a lot about other people. I wouldn't be doing this podcast if I didn't care about you. I really do. I may never have met you. I hope to meet you one day, virtually or in person, but I do care. Being generous is a beautiful thing. Being someone people can trust is a beautiful thing. Those are qualities to be proud of. The problem isn't that we care about other people. The problem is when we start believing that our value only comes from how much we do for them. When we start measuring ourselves by how helpful we are, how productive we are, how much we can handle, how little we need. And maybe, without even realizing it, we begin to believe if I'm useful, I'm valuable. If I'm needed, I matter. If I keep everything together, I belong. But what if that was never the truth, what I just said? What if your worth was never meant to come from everything that you accomplish, everything you manage, or everything you do for everyone else? What if you mattered before you checked anything off your list? What if you mattered before anyone needed anything from you? I think this is the part that can feel uncomfortable. Because when you've spent years proving your value through what you do, slowing down and asking what you want can feel unfamiliar. It can even feel selfish. But maybe choosing yourself isn't about caring less about others. We can still care very much about others. Maybe it's about remembering that you are someone worth caring for too. And this is where we begin to notice the thoughts that have been guiding our choices. Because sometimes the most powerful negative thoughts aren't the ones we say out loud. They're the ones we have repeated so often that they start to feel like the truth. Thoughts such as, I don't have time. It can wait. Everyone else needs me first. I'll take care of myself later. Sound familiar? But what if those thoughts aren't the truth? What if they're simply beliefs that you've been carrying for a long time? Maybe as you're listening today, you're thinking, but if I start putting myself on my own list, what happens to everyone else? And I understand that question. Because for many of us, choosing ourselves can feel uncomfortable at first. I remember how it used to feel for me when I started putting my needs first. It did feel uncomfortable. It did feel selfish-like. It can bring up thoughts like, am I being selfish? Shouldn't I be doing something else for someone else? Do I really have time for this? And this is where we need to pay attention to the thoughts that we automatically believe, because sometimes the thoughts that feel the most familiar are the ones that keep us the farthest away from ourselves. The thought that says, everyone else comes first, or the thought that says, I'll take care of myself when everything else is done, or the thought that says, my needs aren't as important. Taking care of yourself doesn't mean you stop caring about others. Choosing yourself doesn't mean you stop showing up for the people you love. It simply means that you remember that you are one of the people you are responsible for caring for. You belong on your own to-do list. What you want matters. Your needs matter. Your desires matter. And your dreams, they really matter. That is where you will find your happy life. And maybe choosing yourself starts with something much smaller than you think. Maybe it just begins with noticing. Noticing when you automatically say yes before you've even checked in with yourself. Or noticing when you push something you want to do for another day. Notice when you tell yourself, it's not a big deal, even though a small part of you knows it is. Because self-trust is built in these small moments. Every time you pause and ask yourself, what do I need? What do I want? What feels true for me? you begin to rebuild the relationship with yourself. The relationship that perhaps has gotten quiet while you are so busy taking care of everyone else. And maybe this is the question to carry with you this upcoming week. Where do I belong in my own life? Not instead of the people you love or the responsibilities you have, but alongside them. Because your life was never meant to be simply something that you manage. It was meant to be something that you experience, and you deserve to be present for it. Today, we talked about something that may seem simple on the surface, putting yourself on your own to-do list. Notice that this episode isn't about, productivity or time management tips, although I did think about giving you that. And with my coaching clients, we can go into that level of detail. If that is something that the client would like to dig into, we can do that too. But that's not what this episode was about. I'm hoping that maybe you've realized that this was never really about a list. This episode was about the beliefs underneath it. The belief that everyone else's needs matter more. Or the belief that you'll make time for yourself later, next week, next month, next year, when I retire. Or the belief that your life can wait, because what if that was never true? What if your life deserves your attention too right now, today? What if you don't have to earn your place on your own list? What if you are already worthy of being there? Choosing happy isn't about creating a perfect life. It's about choosing to come back to yourself, to hear your own voice, to notice what matters to you, and to remember that your needs, your dreams, and your happiness belong in your life too. Before you go, I want to leave you with that question to carry you this week that I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago. Where do I belong in my own life? Not where do I need to do more, not what else do I need to accomplish, just where do I belong? Because you are not just the person who takes care of everything, the person that others rely on. You are also a person with your own hopes, dreams, desires, and a life that deserves your attention. Your life matters too. If today's episode made you pause and think, I needed to hear this, I would love to invite you to join my Choose Happy email community. Each week, I send a personal note with reflections, journal prompts, and simple reminders to help you reconnect with yourself and carry these conversations into your everyday life. Because sometimes we have moments of clarity while we're listening to the podcast, but then life gets busy again. My weekly email is a small space for you to come back to yourself, a place to slow down, reflect, and remember what matters to you. You can join through the link in the show notes, or you can go to my website, choosehappywithmarie.com. I'd love to have you there. Wishing you a wonderful week, choosing happy. Cheers. Thanks for listening to Choose Happy with Marie. If today's episode spoke to you, I would love it if you could share it with a friend or leave a quick review for the show. It helps more women find this kind of support. Remember, you don't have to overhaul your life to start feeling better. You just have to choose happy right where you are, one choose happy choice at a time. I'll see you next time. Take care.